The Joe Rogan Experience.
I don't know when I'm fighting again. So, but now I'm ready to be active. That was a big part of my decision to go there too, and stay there a year. Is I want to be active this year. Two fights, but training.
Where do they have you ranked now?
I don't think I am.
You don't think you're ranked even top 15?
No, definitely not.
What do you think you should do in terms of the next level of fighter you face? Like, what kind of guy would you like to fight?
Man, that's crazy. I don't even ask myself those questions.
What do? You just wait for the call?
Yeah. I usually I wait for the call, and whoever they usually offer two. They have like two options.
Really?
Yeah. Like,
how do you choose?
Usually they offer like the last time it was, okay, there's Eric Anders or there's a guy, like I didn't even know his name. Like, this guy is going to be new coming into the UFC, and Eric Anders is like coming off a loss, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, well, sucks. I know Eric, all this stuff, but I'd rather fight Eric because I've already lost 3 times to guys who are making their UFC debuts, and it's just not good for me. You know what I mean? Like, obviously they're tough, they're hungry, they're trying to get into the UFC. It's going to be a really tough fight. And so that's kind of how I made the decision the last one. I was like, I don't want to take the risk of losing another fight to a guy who is making his debut, because 3 times was enough for me.
That's refreshingly honest.
Yeah.
That's what. Yeah, I mean, it's like we were talking about earlier about boxers having managers that have a strategy to keep them undefeated as long as possible, give them tests, and have them decide like when's the right time to take this fight, what's the right thing to do. And as a professional, how much of an advantage is it to know what a guy does and know who he is, have seen him fight a bunch of times, been around him?
Yeah, just for instance, like I fought Gokhan Saki, and then they offered me Johnny Walker. And so like Johnny Walker was coming off Contender Series, but still nobody knew, like not even we knew. We saw his highlights, but we're like, well, like this, look at the competition that he's faced.
Right.
You know, so we didn't really get to see much of what he was capable of. So I'm like, okay, if that's all you got, then I'll take the fight. But then here comes Johnny Walker, this like raging beast, you know what I mean? Like, the guy's huge. So, yeah, it was weird. Like, so I went from beating Gokhan Saki to losing to Johnny Walker. Thank God Johnny Walker has been as good as he has and has made a name for himself. But still, like, yeah, I just didn't want to be like a foot in, or what do they call it? Like
a journeyman?
Yeah, not a journeyman, but like when they say like you're trying to get like your foot in the door or something like that. Like
a foot in the door guy.
Someone said it on Instagram. I saw it like a few times, but yeah, I just didn't want to like just be another guy that, you know, could possibly give somebody their shot into the UFC. I was like, let me fight a guy that's in the UFC this time.
Well, so now that you did and you had the fight with Eric Anders and you have this spectacular result, and now, you know, people are recognizing that you've made some big improvement. Like, what caliber of fighter? Like, who do you think would propel your career? Like, what would be the best next step?
I mean, definitely, I think it's time for me to break somewhere into the top 15. You know, for sure. Nowhere in the guys that are at the very top, because
they're all kind of tied up.
They're all pretty tied up, you know, and I definitely think it'll be a while before I can actually fight Jones. Because just of like how things are laid out. Like, I know for sure Johnny Walker's ranked, and he's already kind of like in talks, like he's the guy to beat John Jones. So I'm sure they're going to try to set that up, right? And then there's like kind of this set of guys in the middle.
Did Johnny Walker fuck his shoulder up when he was doing that worm thing?
Supposedly, but I think he's fine. Because I've had people call me and like, hey, I just see this Johnny Walker guy down like on the street every day. I guess he's back in Thailand now.
So he did that flop around thing, and then when he got up, he couldn't move his shoulder.
Yeah,
so
dislocated
it was like dislocated or something like that.
I think that's what happened.
That's so insane.
Were you?
Yes, I was commentating
after, right?
Yeah,
I think you called it out. Like,
I was like, what's going on, man?
Yeah.
He's I hope he doesn't didn't permanently injure his shoulder.
Nah, I think he might be fine.
I hope so.
Yeah, he's not walking around in a sling or anything right now, but he could have a little.
But yeah, after your fight with him, he's made quite an account of himself.
Yeah.
That last fight with that flying knee was insane.
Yeah. So I'm sure before I get to the top, I'd have to fight him again, right?
What's up, Jim? Yeah, I would imagine.
Yeah.
He is currently recuperating from shoulder surgery after dislocating it.
Shoulder surgery.
Dude. Shoulder surgery.
That's
Man,
never
he
good.
fucked up.
From
That's
an
crazy.
I've never known anybody to have shoulder surgery and come back like with a fully. good
Andre
shoulder.
Ward did.
Did he?
Andre Ward had shoulder surgery and came back better than ever.
It says he's,
But he's also got the best doctors.
Sure.
2 months
Took a long
away.
time.
2 months from a comeback is what he says. He hopes to fight the winner.
2
of
months?
Gustafsson Anthony
Tell him
Smith.
He better take his time. He doesn't want to fuck his shoulder up forever. If it rips again. That's a great fight. Anthony Smith and Gustafsson, that's a great fight. And, Anthony Smith, he really held his own. Like, he made a good account of himself in that fight. He didn't win the fight, but, he showed everybody how technical he is, especially in that first round.
Yeah,
Fought
for
real,
sure.
real good and sharp. John's just better. John's just better. For now, he just has his number. In the John Jones that you're seeing now is a John Jones that sort of has, like, a real goal in mind. He's had it taken away from him, and they gave it back to him, and now he knows he has it, and he's capitalizing on it.
It seems like it. It's just like he knows what it's like to be the best, but not be able to really like do anything about it, right? For a long amount of time.
Yeah.
And so I think it's pretty cool to be able to see this version of him and to be active around this time. Maybe I'll get a shot, or maybe he'll still be around at the top, like whenever I get my shot, depending on how it goes.
If you had a timeline in your head of when you think you'd be ready to challenge for a title, when do you think it would be?
I can give it another year. Yeah. I think I can get one more year and a half of good solid fights in to really solidify myself in the UFC and just put in the work and everything that it takes to really embody what I think it would be like, what I think it would take to be a champion, a successful champion, not just like get the belt and lose it, get the belt and then just be a champion for, a couple months. Like, no, to actually be a champion and hold it down, I think a little over a year.
Well, it's an unbelievably talent-rich weight class, right? Because Cormier's still kind of in it.
Mm-hmm.
John Jones is the champion. He just got off the Anthony Smith fight. Anthony Smith, Gustafsson's still a beast. But no one is, like, really standing out as being, like, this person that everybody wants to see challenge for the title. You've got worthy challengers. They're good fights. But there's no one that you're seeing them, except Cormier was the only one.
Yeah.
Where you're seeing him versus John, you're like, woo, what the fuck is going to happen here?
Mm-hmm.
What's going to happen here? And that's what the division needs, I think.
Yeah, definitely. And that's something that I can also see, and that's something that I also want to do for myself. I want to be the best version, and I'm starting to find out what that's like, especially like the happy, like being able to do what I want to do and strike how I want to strike and stuff. So now, like, let's get some fights in there to mix it up and really like test that, like test if it works, test if that's really going to be able to sustain in what it takes to get there. You know what I mean? Like, I'm willing to test it. Like, if they want to put me up against the best grappler in the world and think that I'll have no chance on the ground, okay, cool. Or if they want to put me against, well, they already did. They thought I wouldn't stand a chance against Gokhan Saki. And, like, I was very happy for that because, like, I'm like, okay, cool. I get to test the best of my abilities, like, against a legend.
Yeah.
I knew that I had everything it took to beat him, but I didn't think, like, he's going to destroy me. No, never. Like, so I'm going to continue to be tested.
It's interesting, your approach, because I wonder if the fact that you were such a non-confrontational guy and you are really easygoing helps you in that you have, like, less conflict in your head. I almost wonder, because even the way you approach, like, these different matchups and everything, you kind of put your ego aside. You're looking at like, what is the smart thing to do here? The smart thing to do is not take this fight against this newcomer guy. I've already lost to newcomer guys. The smart thing is, okay, we realized that Thailand was extremely beneficial. Let's fucking move to Thailand. Like,
Yeah.
So you're doing all these like really, really smart moves where, you know, you're looking at it very logically, but you have confidence in yourself, but you're not like a braggy guy. You know, you're getting everything done with your work. You know, you're getting everything done with your results. It's interesting to see, man, because you want to see as many different kinds of fighters as possible, and you're like a new kind of thing.
That's the most important thing, though, man. Like, I don't really tune into much UFC and like what's going on because of that reason.
Right.
I don't care about what people have to say in this. I don't watch fighting to hear what people have to say. You know, like I didn't fight. Like it's not about talking. It's about fighting.
Right.
And the only thing that I can prove and have to prove is what I can do with my skills. That's it. You know, so like if they put me against any type of other fighter, like let's go back to the roots of mixed martial arts. Let's go back to the roots of UFC, like when guys weren't even the same size and they were just matching up different martial arts. Like,
You'd be down for that?
I mean, I'd consider it, and if it had to happen now, like yeah, I'd definitely think about it, and I'd probably lean more towards doing it than saying no.